Hi, I'm Stephen with AlbertaUrbanGarden.ca. Welcome to my garden. On today's episode, we're going to plant grapes. I was very excited to find out that grapes are hardy, some varieties, to Zone 3. There are some universities in the United States that have been working hard to develop great varieties that can grow this far north. So in today's episode, we're going to plant the Frontenac Gris grape and a Frontenac grape to join the Legare and the Lampy heirloom concord grapes that I already have planted here. If you'd like to know how to build this trellis, I'll put a link to the video here or here, or both, to give you a hand so that you can increase your growing space by going vertically, which grapes will do exceptionally well. So I'm here selecting the grapes that we're going to grow up our brand new grape trellis. It's very important to do research on grapes because grapes are adapted to a wide variety of growing conditions, from the tropics all the way up here to Zone 3, and I've even seen some that are hardy to Zone 2. It's very important to do it. Because this is also a perennial, you want to make sure that you take the time to do a little research to figure out what you want to do with these grapes, because if you treat them well, they'll produce heavily for you. In my case, I love brewing wine. So likely, some of them will fall victim to, this garden snack, and some of them may fall into some jams, but the large majority of them will end up in wines. And so for that, I'm selecting varieties that are early to mid-season producers, produce heavily, and are ripe for wine production. So grapes have been around for a very long time. The earliest archaeological evidence suggests that grapes were being domesticated about 8,000 years ago, and wine was being produced almost immediately. On the skin of the grapes is natural yeast, which allowed for the fermentation process to begin, which is suggested to have been the first form of alcohol. So the first thing is you want to select your spot. The important thing to note is how far these plants will spread. The Frontenac Gris, which we're planting in this location, will spread between 2.5 meters, which is about 8 feet wide, so that's 4 feet on each side. This is 4 feet from its neighbor. So we'll just pull back the mulch. So this is free draining soil that is required for grapes. It's a couple of types of compost and some peat moss, and on top is coffee grounds and mulch to continue to enhance the soil. But as you can see, it's just beautiful and falls apart, holds moisture nicely but isn't sopping wet. So because this isn't a raised bed, you don't need to worry too much about making the hole a lot larger. If you're planting this out in your native soil, you're going to want to do it about twice the size of the actual pot itself. Grapes are great, very hardy, and they'll create a very extensive root system to support the woody vine in the near future. With that said, for now, this raised bed will provide its kicking off point. So very carefully, what you want to do is loosen the pot and plop it out. So you notice that this grape is a little root bound. What you can do is gently tease some of these roots apart so that they don't just continue in circles. A little bit of abuse isn't going to hurt this grape. Just to give it a nice little rough up. So we put it in the hole at the same level for which the grape was planted in the container, and fill around. And then we pull the mulch back just to help us preserve a little bit of the moisture in here. A little more tricky. What we're going to try to do is we're going to try to remove the stake that is supporting it and attach a longer bamboo stake that we can attach to both trellis. So this is just actually stapled. Remove this very important information, which is the tag. I like to keep all these tags just to make sure I remember which varieties I have. just take your time to do this. You don't want to hurt the plant at all. But it's important to get it so that it can follow the bamboo all the way up to the very top. In years to come, the base of this plant will become a sturdy, woody, tree-like, and the vines will come out every year from different locations, but the base won't need the support. But with this juvenile plant, you definitely need the support. So this bamboo is 6 feet tall, which will get to the top of the trellis, no problem. We're just going to remove the support provided and put that bamboo right in the same hole. In order to attach the bamboo to the trellis wire, just simply wrap it. And this twine doesn't need to be super tight, it just needs to hold for a little while to guide the plant up. In order to help train the grape, what we're going to do is we're just going to take some greenhouse tape and gently apply it. You don't want to put too much pressure on there because you could impede the growth. But essentially, what will end up happening is these tendrils, much like most vining plants, will actually wrap around the trellis wire and the bamboo and start to climb all by itself. This just holds it in the meantime until it gets going. So we're actually going to attach the growth tip up here and see if we can't train these vertically. And finally, just water. Because the root system is very small on this plant for now, you'll want to make sure that you water frequently. As it ages, it'll become significantly drought tolerant as it has a very extensive root system. So they're all planted, they're trellised in, they're tied up, they're ready to go. What I've done on the trellis wire is actually I've attached the tag that came with the plants just to help my memory, because sometimes it goes a little bit, but they should be good. I'm very much looking forward to next year or the following year collecting some grapes, eating a few, and maybe even making some wine. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it very much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. If you'd like to join the conversation, please join us on Google Plus and Facebook. Those URLs can be found in the description below. Have a great day.